Yay! We're back together again. It is the Ask Stuart Hour, or maybe I should rename it the Ask Anything Hour. I don't know. What do you think? I'm all about the brand. I had a meeting yesterday, a 15-minute meeting, which really wasn't. We met for over an hour at my favorite local coffee shop, and this gentleman, he's an entrepreneur. He has his own coaching business. He's a professional coach, and he mainly focuses on executive leadership and work-life balance type coaching. And he, after 3 years in business, he said to me, I've realized that I didn't need this fancy name, because he was wearing a really cool shirt with the name of his business on, and he said, I think I'm going to rebrand it, just use my name. And I was like, 2 thumbs up, because friends, I've been talking to you guys about this forever, that if we don't have a lot of money for fancy branding, it's tough to build a brand around a name we create. And it could be a great name, but especially if we are a solopreneur, right? A solopreneur like me, like many of you, why shouldn't it be our name? Why shouldn't it be our name? In fact, the first question I'm going to get to today is from Sarah, and the name of her business is Crafty Travel. Well, that's her last name. It's cool. So Sarah, I don't know if you're here in the house with me today, but let me just welcome everybody else. And thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate it. Before I hit record, I apologized if I was late in returning any of your emails or follow-up. Boy, if I ever needed some help these past few weeks, it's been these past few weeks. It's the only really help that I get from the outside is from my artist, Roslani, who helped design my website, who helped design the Group Sales Success Summit website. She's amazing, and I'm going to get to meet her in person for the very first time ever in Chicago, because she lives not too far from where my presentation is. I'm so excited. But last week, I embarked on a 4-city speaking tour, Fort Lauderdale last week, where I got to meet Carolyn. Yay! And I think there's a bunch of you coming. I think somebody's coming to Chicago, and a few Minneapolis, and then I've got Denver. That's in October. But I'm so excited. But, when I get hired to do a speaking gig, man, I go deep. I dive deep. I research. I rehearse. And sometimes my response time is delayed. So I apologize. And I love you for giving me that opportunity of forgiveness, because I preach to you guys, it's all about time. Follow-up is key. And one of the biggest ways we can be rest assured of not getting a piece of business, is by having slow follow-up. So let me just give you this, because this is part of the keynote that I give for Travel Leaders Network. It's all about sales, by the way. It's 1 hour all on sales, which is that no matter who calls you on the phone, okay, whether they are a repeat, whether they are a referral, or whether they're just shopping, and basically we're all shopping, don't get me wrong, they're going to fall into one of 3 buckets. The first bucket is they could just say, I'm just looking, right? You've heard that before. I'm just looking. Bucket number 2 is, I can't decide which is better, this or this, right? Am I making sense? And bucket number 3 is, can you beat this? They're trying to make the conversation a commodity. It's just strictly a price, And a lot of times we think that the person in the first bucket, just looking, is just looking. They're far away from making a booking, whether it's individual or groups. And the person who's at the other bucket, can you beat this price? They're ready to go. And if you beat that price, then you're going to get the business right away. And of course, I tell you, it's not about price. You can't reduce it that way. You have to take control of the conversation. But the truth is, all 3 buckets, all of those leads are ready to book right now. They're ready now. So even for the people who are just looking, they're just saying that because they have no idea what they want. They need your expertise. They need your advice. They need your direction. They want you to take control. And even the person, that couple in the third bucket, can you beat this? Some of them may not relinquish control because all they care about is price, no matter what you say, no matter how much fear you give them that they're going to miss something, that it's going to be stripped down, bare bones, off the shelf. You can't help everybody. And some of them will want you to take control. And here's the ultimate reason why. And then we're going to get into your comments and questions. Is that they want somebody to blame should something go wrong. Most people who are not professional travel agents, okay, they just want someone else to blame. They want someone to have that burden on their shoulders, and that's what you signed up for. That's what you guys do. Could you imagine if you said to your clients, hey, I'm in your corner, I'm in your pocket, I'm on your side, I'm going to make sure everything goes smooth as silk. You go pack, you go have a good time, go boast to your friends that you're going on this river cruise, you're going to this hotel, and I'm going to take care of all the details. I got you covered. Let me do the worrying for you, you know. I'm not wishing worry on you, but I'm just saying, wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to be able to say to your clients? All right, let me just see what's going on here. The question box here. Carolyn says she has 2 every morning for the last 50 years. Carolyn has 2 cups of coffee every morning for the last 50 years. Now, that's what I call a habit. And let's see here. Carolyn says, I would love to have Rosalani's contact information to work on my website. I will be happy to give it to you. If any of you need, who I think is really among the most talented web designers in the business, I'm happy to connect you to Rosalani. She is brilliant. She communicates via Skype, so we do video Skype. So, it really helps make the meeting productive and efficient. And I just find her to be extraordinary because there's some things I like doing myself and there's some things I know I should not be doing myself. All right, here's the deal, folks. We're going to get started right away. I've already got 5 questions queued up that so many of you have sent in. So I just want to know, Sarah, are you in the house? Sarah, are you in the Paris? Hi, Paris. You want it? I will send you Rosalani's information. In fact, I may just, yeah, I'll send it to you. I don't know if I want to post it on the Facebook. Well, whatever. I trust you guys and gals, so I'm not concerned. But I know some of you send in questions like Karen. I know you're on the road. You said you're going to dial in. I've got you, Nancy, also. Some of you send in questions and you just said that you're unable to make this meeting and you watch the recording or hear the recording, which is cool. All right, so if you've got, oh, Sarah, you're here. Cool, super cool. Jan's in the house. Welcome, Jan. I'm so glad you're all here. Everyone's filing in. All right. Here's Sarah. Listen, everybody. I'm working on my first group since joining boot camp and seeing the way. We can end it right there, Sarah. You made my day. Thank you for that vote of confidence. Now, listen, everybody. It's my largest group to date with currently 97 passengers. And Sarah, wow, Sarah, if there's been an update because you sent this to me a week or 2 ago, at least, let me know if you have an update. Type it in. Or anybody, if you want your microphone turned on, tell me, and I'll warn you before I do that because you have to give me permission and I have to turn it on if it's easy to talk. I'm delighted to do that. It's my largest group to date with currently 97 passengers. Prior groups have been 12 to 20. Cool. This current group is taking quite a bit of time and effort, which keeps me occupied. Quote, parentheses, trying not to use the word overwhelm. I know I need to keep the pipeline full. Yes, I'm certain it will come down to time blocking and time management. But I was wondering if you could discuss, open for discussion, how agents, that's all of you guys, colleagues, other ambitious group agents, how do you start working on a new group when you're already deeply involved with a current group? I know if I don't get going on another group, I'll be back at 0 once this group travels in February 19. So, Sarah, I think what you're bringing forward is awesome, an awesome discussion topic, because you want to grow your business now, don't you? You realize that you want to keep those paychecks coming in. So you get that big commission check in the first quarter, and then there's another one in Q2 and another in Q3. And wouldn't it be great if there was more than one paycheck in each quarter too? But if you're a solopreneur, maybe you do have some help. There's just so much you can do in a day, so yes, it's time management. It is time management. Now, I've got to tell you the two things that come to mind, and I want to see if any of you have anything to share as well. Really, there's three things, okay? Number one is I hate to use the word technology. I hate to use technology because it's a scary word. But Sarah, are you using something like Travel Joy, just because there's been so much discussion about it, or Client Base or Client Ease or Travify, whatever? So the first thing you want to look at really is how can you on a day-to-day basis become most efficient so that you put time back in the day, because we all know by now we're never going to have more than 24 hours in a day, and I don't want to ever suggest you take away more time from family, because as important as it is for you to get this business, Sarah, it's as important to have a good work-life balance. I am the biggest believer in that. Now, I know sometimes it gets tough. Sometimes you got to put in the late hours, burn the midnight candle, burn the candle. But generally speaking, the first thing I would say is, are you maximizing your usage of tools, resources, let's call them resources, that will cut down on the paperwork, cut down on the research time. And friends, even if it adds 15 minutes back into your day, that could be a golden 15 minutes. It could be an hour. It could be 5, right? So I would say efficiency under the heading of technology tools. Are you doing that? Number 2, I would say to work by appointments with everything. Work by appointments so that you minimize your clients calling out of the blue and having a distraction when you're knee deep in a project. Because I realize, Sarah, if your good client calls somebody with a current group, you want to pick up the call, you want to answer that call. But if you work by appointments and you say, hey, we're going to start at 10 and we're going to end at 10:30, then you're putting a wall around it, and you'll be done and you can get back to other stuff, and so can they. So are you working by appointments with everybody? And at the same time, and this is still number 2, are you setting appointments with yourself? Are you setting appointments with yourself so that, and that's really just what you're going to do today. What are you doing today? I know we've talked about this a lot. How I plan it. I know every Monday I set the agenda for the week, but every day I set the agenda for what I'm going to get done that day. Something carries over if I don't get it done. So make appointments with yourself too, so your day is scheduled. Now everybody works differently, but man, if I don't sit down in the morning with a game plan, I'm a mess. I'm a wreck. What happens is business runs us. We don't run our business. We don't run our business. Now, the third thing is, Sarah, and I know you are relatively new in group boot camp, but are the customer service and the sales issues, are they sort of driving you crazy? Are they coming at you with repetitive questions or constantly doing that stuff? So maybe you've seen these modules, Sarah, maybe you have not. But friends, it is so important to control not just the group leader, but everyone in the group, all the prospects, whether they booked or not, so that you're not getting hit in a million directions and distracted. We have to eliminate distractions in our day. And sometimes that means shutting off email while you're working on a big project. You know this. But so to my specific point, Sarah, are you driving all questions to the Facebook group that you created specifically for the group? Okay, so this is the group you already have on the books. I know you're working on a new one, right? Which is going to be big. But the more you take control in the beginning and say, okay, everybody, group leader, we're going to have a weekly meeting. and it's going to be Mondays from 10 to 10:30. And everybody on your Go team is going to sit down, and we're going to connect by phone, and we're going to hash through everything that's going on. Monday from 10 to 10:30. Hey, everyone in the group, look, we're gonna I don't know, maybe you have live Q&A sessions too, or you tell everybody you're gonna staff the chat box. Maybe you have instant message on Facebook and say, listen, I'm available from 12 to 1 for your questions. We'll do a Facebook Live once a week every Wednesday from noon to 1. Ask me questions. And if you're not comfortable video, do a conference call, freeconferencecall.com. Maybe one person will show up, maybe 3, and if nobody's there, just keep it on speakerphone. But the point is to really control the questions coming in and the answers going out, I would have to say, because the whole idea, and I'm going to end it here and see, Sarah, if you've made any comments, if anybody else has comments or suggestions, it's all about scalability, friends. Write that word down. Every entrepreneur or solopreneur, and this is something I think about constantly, is scalability. As an example, I stopped doing one-on-one coaching. While I loved it, I miss it, it is lucrative, okay? My calendar was filling up, and I had no time for anything else, and I'm just one person, so how many one-on-one coaching calls can I do? So that's why I do this with you. I mean, I practice what I preach. Every other week, I do a coaching call with a group of people, and I'm hoping that although I'm helping specifically to Sarah's question, some of you are also saying, I didn't think of that great idea, or you're going to share your own solutions. But it's about scalability. How can you do more? Every decision you make, every project you do, every group you take on, strongly consider it. Does this make sense? Can it grow? Is there exponential growth? Like I did the Group Sales Success Summit. That entirely overwhelmed my entire month, over a month. Entirely overwhelming. But I knew the juice was worth the squeeze because I was going to build my list. I was going to sell some boot camps. I was going to sell GSS for keeps, which I did. I made a lot of new friends, and I think collectively we did something great for the industry, and it was worth my time because the payoff was great. And it was not an on-location conference, right? It was online. I didn't have to travel to do it. And by the way, I'm working on a potential conference for next year, but you didn't hear that from me. All right, let's see if we got any comments here. Sarah, okay. I sent it yesterday. Okay, cool. So Sarah said she currently uses ClientBase and just started using Travelify. Not sure if ClientBase will be best tool moving forward. I'm attached to it because of connection to my host and direct mail. I get it. So at this point, what I would say is if that's the tool your host offers, you're most familiar with that, now is not the time, right, friends, to make a change, a resource, a technology change, because the learning curve could be too great. So when you have that gap, put it on your calendar. When you know you have a gap in time, then you can, if you want, perhaps look at other tools or not. Again, you have to consider the time it's going to take in adapting something new, but maybe there is something that will work more efficiently for you. I don't know. Next, appointments are a great comment. Just started that using Calendly. Hey, that's great. I actually started using it too, not the paid version. But friends, did you get that? Calendly, C-A-L-E-N-D-L-Y, Calendly. There are many of these programs out there. So you have online calendars. And when I needed to set up a whole series of conversations, I actually set up online where my availability was, and I let them pick the time. So I wasn't on the phone saying, well, how about Tuesday at 3? No. Well, how about Wednesday at 4? No. So I love that. I think the calendar thing is great, Sarah. And then also she says, I've been using the Facebook group and also weekly or bi-weekly emails to keep them up to date. It's helping, and that's great. Especially if you've got people already signed up or interested in signing up. I don't think you can send enough communications. You can't overdo it. as long as you're not being repetitive, but you're giving information. People welcome that. Welcome that. And it gives you a chance to encourage them to, hey, we're going to have a live session on Wednesday with your questions, and I've got a big update for you. Or, hey, go to your Facebook group. I just posted 3 new pieces of information that will reduce stress and add convenience. I love using those words. Sarah said, I've given too much freedom. I gave too much freedom in the beginning, learned a lot to keep more control. There you go. All we can do is learn, right? So it's about control. And I don't use control in a negative way. But friends, these clients are coming to us to take control. They want us to tell them next steps. That's another important thing, right? We always want to tell our clients, whether it's a group or individuals, what's next. If I'm your client, you tell me, all right, Stuart, we're going to meet next Tuesday. I need you to have your passports ready. I need you to have your credit card out because we're going to talk about excursions. I don't know. Just tell me what's coming. So I don't have to worry that you're in control. And I love the fact that the burden's on your back. And this is what you accept because you are a travel professional. You don't look at it as a burden. It's your pleasure. It's your pleasure. Do you ever go to Palace Resorts, right? Moon Palace or the Grand or whatever? A pleasure. They don't say thank you. They say it's a pleasure or a pleasure. I love that. Sarah says too much flexibility, not freedom. Yeah, it's important to you want people to feel comfortable communicating with you, and also you'll gently nudge them to the Facebook group or to the live conversation, and or create a document, a living document. You can create, put everyone's questions on a page, a PDF, and tell people every question you ask, I'm going to add to this PDF, and it's called a living document. We'll just keep updating it. Nancy's here. Hey, Nancy. Hi, Stuart. I'm in a meeting at the moment. We'll have to listen to you later. Thank you. You're very welcome, Nancy. I've got your question here. No problem. Good luck in your meeting. Okay, let's go to Judy. I have a call. Sarah, I hope that helped. I hope that helped. And if not, let's continue the dialogue. Guess where? I'm going to say in the Facebook group. Let's continue in the Facebook group. I have a call from a client. I did a few trips, including a 20-person family vacation. Cool. She contacted me about a trip, June 2019, 50 passengers to Jamaica. Wanted specific resorts, comparing prices on 2 of them. I did ask if she was putting this out to any other agency. She said yes, with a scuba agency, and most had used that company before. My question is to all of you, everyone, pay attention. Judy wants everyone to chime in here. Should I send a contract to her before I begin working on this, or just give her pricing, not the stripped down model, sell myself and what I can offer and hope to get the business? So, Judy, this is a great question because I was asked this question by Susan of Brave Women Travel. That's actually question number 2 here, which is, you get that call for a potential group and you're going to start up your engines. So before I give you my answer of what I would coach you to do and not to do, because, in my business, I have a tricky thing too, in terms of from people I don't know, they're not in boot camp or whatever, they'll send me questions and they're not easy answers. And I don't want to say, hey, I can't answer, you have to pay me, but I have to make decisions here. What am I going to do? And I don't do one-on-one coaching. So how do I answer these questions? And do you get the engines going if you suspect they may just be using you? So I have a couple of suggestions, and Susan, I'm going to read your question too, but first I want to check the boards here to see if you guys have anything you want to share. And nobody has anything to share. So Carolyn, thank you, would say I would not give pricing, and I agree with that. I agree with that. Because remember, if the price, first of all, you never want to give the pricing in an email. And I would say you don't give the pricing on the phone too, because remember, especially with a group, friends, we're never going to do, and you already said this, Judy, you had no intention of doing this trip down off the shelf bare bone package. So you couldn't give a price anyway, which means you're going to need to spend time on the phone with the client qualifying. You're going to ask high mileage questions. And you're going to get vested in their group. And the whole idea is they get vested in you. Like, wow, Judy's asking a lot of great questions. And she's really in tune. She gets us. You know how you get a client, somebody who you may not know. So we're going to call them an unclient, a prospective client, to say the words, wow, you get me. You just repeat back everything they say. You guys know this. It's sales 101. You mirror. And by repeating things back, they say, wow, man, you're listening to me. You get me. And a lot of times, not sometimes, they'll even say, oh, no. I like this, not that. When they hear it back, they realize it's not really what they meant to say, and they clarify. It's a great way to qualify. And by repeating back, you're qualifying and presenting at the same time. And remember, you can never ask for the business unless you've qualified, overcome obstacles and objections, okay? Actually qualified, presented, overcome obstacles, and then ask for the business. Because if you don't overcome obstacles and objections, they're never going to give you the business because you missed something. Let me take a sip of coffee, see if there's any other comments. And Judy, I want to see if I can give you some more ideas. Okay. Here we go. Carolyn said, don't spend your time if you're not getting paid. Right. So Sarah here, and I'm going to read your question, Susan, in a second. But this is the age-old problem. You want to come off as being friendly, invaluable, highly knowledgeable. You want to come off being absolutely the best in the world. So they become hooked on you and they never feel the necessity to go anyplace else. Number two, Judy did the right thing. And I was going to recommend to Susan too. It's a great question to ask. Why not ask? Are you working with another agent now? Ask them right out so at least you know. And even if they say no, it may not be true. Now, friends, if you're on the phone with somebody who's never booked with you before, I would say chances are they're checking you out and checking somebody else out. Look, we're all consumers. We're all shoppers. We all do these things, right? I don't know, Judy, that if I don't know you, that you're going to follow up, you're going to be great. So I can't take a chance. So you know what? I'm going to talk to Judy and I'm going to talk to Carolyn. Carolyn and Judy don't know each other, but I'm going to, just to protect myself, because I've got no time to waste and this project is too big, this event is too big, I'm going to have a conversation with two different people, two different companies to see who I like better. Hey, just like you want to get your house painted, a lot of times you're calling two different people, two companies to give you a price, go check it out. Or sometimes you do that with a car before you get a car repaired. I get it. It's human nature. So one of the things you can do is be very honest. Number one is say, look, this is my passion. This is my love. This is what I do all day. I create incredible group packages that will exceed your expectations, and I make sure you never miss a thing, and I give you the highest value possible for your dollar. My clients come back loving me and loving what I do for them. However, I don't work for free. In fact, I'm probably the most expensive agent you'll ever work with. Now, you're like, what are you, nuts, Stuart? No, I'm not saying you necessarily say that. But sometimes it's really good to give yourself a nice cachet that you wanted, you're in demand, and that you would love to have them as a new client because you would love to be their agent of record. But the way you do business is, you're going to dive in deep here, and they're going to too, and you don't want to waste each other's time. So what you lot of agents ask for some kind of a non-refundable planning fee. And Susan, that's what you've recommended here, a $250 planning fee. I don't know of a lot of agents who have had success with that unless the consumer knows who you are and knows you're worth it. It's worth the risk of $250 because I know, Susan, or I know, Judy, you're going to deliver for me. That doesn't always work. That's unless they know you and they already love you. Okay. So more than likely, this is a cold call coming in. They may not know you. Even if it's a referral, they may not trust that giving you $250 is worth it. And of course, you would take the $250 off the price if they book it because you're going to build it in anyway, right? You know you're going to build in that you're going to make that back because you're going to do your own markups and earn the money. But you can do sort of a right of first refusal letter. You can create some kind of an agreement. And I actually have a copy of this that I'm happy to post in Facebook if you want. I have in the past. Darn it, it's just the name of it's not coming to me. Maybe Hans or maybe somebody could help me with this. It's a letter that gives you 30 or 60 days to be the exclusive. But it's got to be mutual. So you as the agent would say, look, I am ready to roll up my sleeves and I give you everything I've got. I'm going to make you my #1 client. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions so that you have the most memorable group trip in the history of the world. I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to ask you a lot of questions. I'm willing to put in that time. I need you to put in that time with me too so I can deliver for you and take the whole burden off your back. So what I will request from you is that we sign this one-page document. And darn it, if I can't remember the name, a letter of first refusal that basically says that you, Mr. and Ms. Client, are not going to go anyplace else. You're giving me the opportunity to come back and give you give you a full presentation with a price. Now, of course, you guys know the price comes at the very end, right? And you're never going to put that in email. You want to present that the whole. Did you see my Pitch Perfect in boot camp? Have you watched Pitch Perfect? So get a letter signed that they agree not to go anyplace else. Now, is that binding in a court of law if you don't get an attorney's letter? I don't know. But at least it gives them food for thought and makes them think twice before they go someplace else. What you have to appeal to, Judy and Susan, is their lack of time. Everyone's short on time. Mr. and Ms. Jones, if you've got the time to shop multiple people, then you've got more time than most of us. I would like to save you that time, and I would like to urge you and encourage you that you've come to the right place. You don't need to shop around because my price point is probably not going to be as low as them. Well, how could that be? Why would I want to pay more? Well, you may be paying a little bit more, but you're going to get a whole lot more. You see, I don't let my clients miss a thing because if I just gave you the cheap price, and I don't do cheap. So if you're looking for cheap, you got the wrong guy. You got the wrong lady. I do highest value. I do more inclusive. So we're going to build in, if you give me permission to package, I can negotiate better on your behalf. Use these words, friends. I can negotiate better on behalf of the whole group and put together a package that is probably going to be more money than you're going to get out there. But when you take their trip, you're going to spend a whole lot more when you get there. You've heard me say this before, and you're going to miss out on stuff. I'm not like you're looking to let you miss a thing. And you may pay a little bit more upfront with me, but in the long run, you'll end up paying less. Am I making sense? Because if this is not the way you want to do business, I'm not your guy. I'm not your gal. You got to be bold. Friends, is this making sense? I'm not a big proponent of charging a planning fee up front because I don't think people pay it. Let me check the boards here. I want to see if you guys have any comments, Judy, what you're thinking. I don't mean to minimize this because it's a big deal. You get these calls all day long. But friends, if you can get a pitch down to get them hooked to say, fine, I'll give you 30 days to come up with the best package ever. And if you don't love it, then you can move on. But if you want my full attention, you got to give me your full attention. Would you give me those 30 days? If not, we can't do business together. You don't have time for me. I don't have time for you, but I'm the best in the business. I'm the best travel agent in the world. Carolyn got to see me in Fort Lauderdale, and I don't know if you recall this. I said, you're here getting training. Who wouldn't want to get a picture of me with you, put it on your Facebook saying, here, I'm getting professional training from the best speaker in the world. Now, they have no idea who I am, but you're showing off. And I'm taking a picture with you. You're the best travel agent in the world. Are you bold enough to say that to people who are shopping you? We're all shoppers. Carolyn says, I would love to work with you, but I do need our contract to be signed before I can put together a price for you. There you go. Carolyn says, right of first refusal is better than trying to get the contract signed up front. You bet. Judy says they're all divers and I'm not. So if they don't sign this agreement, what next? Well, this dive company, from what I'm hearing, is that this dive company, they will do the whole group. Like, Judy, can you subcontract with the dive company? Can the dive company, do they work with agents? Do they give you net rates? Do they pay a commission? So is this dive company a real head-for-head competitor of you? Would they do exactly what you do, or are they a component of the whole group? I mean, that's an unanswered question I have of you, to know if they're just a travel company and they're the actual dive company. And I get it that you're not the dive person, but if this company allows you to subcontract, then you're in pole position here, because obviously they love this dive company. But I don't know what this dive company is missing, especially if they worked with them before. I wish there was a way for you, Judy, to find out maybe what, here, let me back up for a second. You guys know that I do not recommend that the first question out of your mouth is, what do you want? What are you looking for? How can I help? I do recommend that the first question out of your mouth, now this is during the qualifying process, is what don't you want? So Judy, to your point, hey, it's great. I'm glad you found a company you love, this dive company, and that's who I'm up against. That's okay. But tell me, if you've done this in the past with them, tell me, just generally speaking, nothing negative about this company. They're beautiful people, but what didn't you like? What went wrong? What did you miss? What are the things you don't want to have happen again that were perhaps stressful or risky? So I know number one, to make sure these things never happen again. I like coming at it that way. No salesperson asks that question, and I think we should. What don't you want? And I think that can help you, because Judy, maybe you'll discover maybe what they don't deliver, what they don't do, because clearly, final point before I check the boards here, they're coming to you, Judy, because they weren't sold hook, line, and sinker on this other company, right? So there's a reason. Find it out. Sarah says, the package pricing worked well. I explained it's not the same price because you're going to get much more. Great. Great, great, great. Susan says, hey, Susan, great stuff, Stuart. I ended up doing an itinerary on Travelify. I gave them a price and told them I would waive my $500 planning fee because she had 8 gals ready to travel. There you go. There you go. Remember, you never want to put that price in an email. You want to do it together, all together, especially if you can do it live, because you want to see their faces, because you'll know right away if it's like, this is great or not. But if it's on an email, forget it. They're going to take the number, and if you never hear from them again, you'll never know why they didn't buy. Callan says, yes, right on. Susan says, took me a few hours to put it together. All right. Judy says, it's another travel agency. There you go. Judy says they like the travel agent that they use. So here's the thing. Clearly, could you imagine if you have customers who you think are loyal to you, who you think love you, but they're still shopping you? This goes on, friends. So I think there's an opportunity here still, not to diss another agency. And thank you for clarifying, Judy, but to find out, hey, what went wrong last time? What things do you want to go better? Did you miss? Find out what the weakness is, Judy, that perhaps you can fill before you get going. Susan, that's all right. Susan spelt my name wrong, S-T-E-W, and that's all right. You can call me any. I will answer to just about everything. It's all right. Carolyn says, perhaps they're working like a tour operator, providing the boat and equipment dive schedule. They usually don't do the hotel and flights. Right. So, Carolyn, what we just found out is it is another agency, apparently, and maybe they specialize in dive, but maybe at the base here there is a specific in Jamaica dive company. And by the way, Judy, you probably have contacts in Jamaica, but if you need somebody in Jamaica as a very, 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 very reliable point person, almost like a general contractor, because he can put all the details together for you. I know him, I trust him, I love him. His name is Newton, and I will be happy to give you his information. He helped me launch. When I launched Resort for a Day, well, it didn't start at Resort for a Day. It started as Jamaica for a day, and then became Grand Cayman for a day, Barbados for a day, Cozumel for a day, St. Thomas for a day, you name it, it went on and on until it became Resort for a Day. But Newton became a very close friend and business associate because he helped me negotiate. He helped make sure people were happy. The hotel managers were happy. The customers were happy when I was moving hundreds and thousands of people from the ship to the hotel. So if you need a contact there, let me know. I will send you Newton's contact information. All right. Let me take a deep breath here. I just want to answer this, Susan. And by the way, friends, I want to continue this discussion in our Facebook group because this is big, you know. So listen, everybody, and then I have Nancy, and I have Karen, I have a whole bunch of things here coming up. Susan, Brave Woman Travel. So Susan got this email from a client. Hey, Susan, we're doing a cruise to Australia, New Zealand in February 2020. I might be able to put a group of 8 people together. And she says she right off the front. I love this, Susan, because this potential client tells you a cruise line they don't like, but what they do like. Friends, are you asking if they have loyalties to specific companies? It'll save you a lot of time and trouble. And frankly, if you believe, Susan, in your case, that Celebrity and Princess are not going to be good for them, well, that's your job to tell them and tell them why. But right off the bat, they eliminated a big decision because they told you who they don't like and who they do. Can you put something together for us? I understand that some cruises can start in Fiji. We're looking around between 2 and 3 weeks. Wow, man, that's an awesome lead. So Susan's question is, how's the best way to handle someone I've never met? I want to secure this small group and want to make sure they stay loyal. So number one, you want to be loyal to them. If anybody here has not read my little booklet, my little book on loyalty, rule number one is loyalty does not start on the customer side. It starts on the vendor side, on your side. You start the loyalty process. You got to give it to get it. Man, we could take the whole hour to talk about loyalty. We take the whole day. So start giving that loyalty. Give them the love. Turn it on. Show them the gratitude. Make them feel like, and Carolyn, you just heard this from Fort Lauderdale, that they're the best call you got all day. This is a trip you can't wait. Your mouth is watering just to put this together for them. And she says, I don't want to put 40 hours of work and have them go elsewhere. There are 18 months before the cruise, which is great. They're giving you plenty of lead time. So we kind of talked about this because you had said, what about a planning fee? And I love it. You're bold here. It kind of terrifies me because they may go elsewhere, but I guess this is a chance I have to take. Yeah, it is. Listen, Tom Peters, I used to read a lot of Tom Peters, and he always said, it's impossible. We cannot, and he used the word close sales. He said, you can't be a 100% closer. I don't use the word close. You guys know that. We never want to close a sale. We want to open the sale. Opening the sale means we're going to stay friends with them. We're going to build a relationship. We want them to come back. We want them to send us referrals. We're going to keep it open, not closed. In any case, he says you just can't do 100. The whole idea here is to increase your batting average. So if you're opening 4 out of 10 leads, try to get 5, try to get 6, convert them to new customers, right? So number one, and I said you wrote here, Susan, email. What kind of email would you send back? Man, I would just use email for transactional emails, never prices, unless it's done deal. But informational emails, recap. If you have a conversation, you want to send an email with a recap of what you talked about, right? But I would jump on the phone, which you probably already have, Susan, and it's got to be all telephone dialogue, one-on-one. You want to meet with as many people in that group as possible, too, because I'll tell you why, Susan, you don't want to give somebody else in that group the chance to call their cousin, their aunt, their kids or whatever who know another agent, and there you go. So any meeting you want to have with as many people as possible, okay? And when you go back and you make the pitch, watch my Pitch Perfect. Susan, if you haven't watched Pitch Perfect yet, it may go into a level of detail that seems so elementary, but it's so important of how it rolls out when you do that pitch, when you gather the information and do the pitch and reveal the price, which comes towards the end naturally after you do all the qualifying. And oh yeah, so I had already written here, which I already said to you and to Judy too, is can you get that letter signed? Some kind of a commitment letter. Maybe those are the words, commitment letter, that I was looking for before. Okay. Okay, let me move to, so Susan and Judy, I want to continue this conversation because this is an age-old challenge, isn't it? You know, they're not coming into your store and they're not buying something off the shelf. They're buying you and they're buying your ideas. And you know, I believe it comes down to the words that come out of your mouth, that level of confidence, your level of immediate follow-up. And I get it. Like we talked about Sarah before. Sarah, you've got other groups, you got other stuff going on, but man, you get a lead like this, you still have to make that client feel that it's the best, the potential client, best call you got all day, and you're going to make them your number one. Now, you and I both know you can't do that because you have other clients too. But they need to think that, they need to believe that. Because if they feel like they're taking the back burner or you're busy with other people, they're going to go someplace else too. Because they're going to make an unfortunate assumption that you may lose interest and you may not follow up on the level that they need, that they expect. Okay, where's number 3? Okay. This is Karen, and I really like this, and I want to see if we get some feedback from you guys. Karen says here, I'm starting to write down some group goals for 2019. Friends, have you set your group goals for 19? With that, I need to put some action in place. How am I going to get these 6 new groups? So this is Karen's plan. She wants 6 new groups for 19. Besides my marketing calendar, it would be great if we could talk about, quote, what do I need to do on a daily basis that could propel my groups for next year? Now, Karen, you put this in writing. I'm going to share this with everybody on the call so you can hear Karen's plan, and I'm going to pepper in some more stuff, and I want to hear it from you guys too. Let's help each other. Okay. All right. So basically, Karen said that she needs to put it on her calendar, or else, quote, it ain't going to happen. And I agree, friends. And I don't know if you work the same way as me, and apparently Karen. But man, if I don't write it down, I will forget. Now, right before I started this program with you guys here, turned on the engines, I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that I didn't have on this list that if I didn't write down, I was going to forget. I need to have a plan. So the minute I end this call, I have 6 calls to make. Very, 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 very important pieces of follow-up. I can't forget. So yeah, you got to plan this out. You can't just leave it to chance. So Karen says that she wants to send postcards, 10 postcards to potential group leaders around a theme. Okay, well that's great, and you know I believe in direct mail. I really do. But let me put a twist on that, friends. Instead of just sort of sending a blind postcard, or you know, really give it thought, because you want that postcard or that letter to have something personal in it. It can't be a generic card. I get generic junk all day long from people. they want to buy this house. Well, it's generic. You don't really care about this house. You don't care about me. You're just in real estate and you're looking for houses to buy and sell or whatever. So Karen and everybody, if you're going to send out a piece of direct mail, especially if it's hand done, it's got to have some personal reference, and that connects me to the 15-minute meeting. So, so one of the things that I did was I get the local business journal. Are you doing this? I suggest you do. For Memphis, I get the Memphis Business Journal, and whenever I see a company or a person that I find to be interesting, that I want to compliment, that, hey, would be a good person to know, I send a little note, and I said, hey, I saw your article. And sometimes I don't ask for the 15-minute meeting, but I'll put my card and just say, hey, just congratulations on your success. And I add them to my list, and I keep in touch. I keep the follow-up going, because you never know. Maybe they're going to say, oh, geez, we need a speaker, in my case. And maybe for you, they need an agent, So number one on my list is, what's going on locally? Are you reaching out to people in the local newspaper or online through meetups that you're just networking? It's just networking. And are you sending those cards to people who may or may not make a difference in your life, but maybe you can make a difference in their life? Let them know, as Mike Marsheff says, you're live. And next is ask for those 15-minute meetings. So something I would definitely say to all of you is make sure that you're going to allow yourself to have at least one 15-minute meeting a week. Now, Karen goes on to say that she wants to block space, cruise space, for spring break, summer vacation, holiday weeks. Well, that's fine, friends, but that's promotional space. Maybe an affinity group will come in and end up joining that, and it becomes a group or multiple groups. But remember, that's a promotional, that's speculative, and that's fine. If you want to add that to your mix, to any of you, do that. To any of you, take out space. Or maybe you already know that you got some potential prospects that it's a good idea to hold that space just in case. I don't know. Rock and roll, you can try that stuff, but the cruise lines especially, this is where they have so much attrition. They'll give out 100 cabins, I'm saying, agents block as groups, and they know, a very low percentage will actually sell. So they'll actually, oversell that ship 20-fold, 30-fold, because they know it's actually going to stick. They want affinity business, not promotional. But sometimes they'll give you a deal, and you go out and you market it. You leverage it. She says, send email blasts to prospects to block cruise space. Yeah, but I'm more interested in, are you sending email blasts to your list? Do you have followers, friends? I did Group Sales Success Summit because I wanted to build my list, and I did. I have almost just a hair under 2,500 agent email addresses that now who know me that I didn't know before. Are you doing stuff to build your list? We get so focused on making a sale, we forget that in today's new economy, it's not about making a sale. If it was, you would be like Macy's. You would run a flyer in the Sunday paper saying blockbuster deal, lowest prices of the season, which is what they do every Sunday. That's not what you do. Your goal is to build your list, to position yourself as an influencer, a celebrity authority. So Karen, rather than just that, to block cruise space, because these consumers may not understand what that means, right? Build your list, do stuff in the community. Show how you can help. And don't sell anything. Just build your list. Position yourself. And then she's going to work on databases. I get it. And pursue your niche, right? She has a whole list of databases to pursue, which is great. But what's your niche? I'm a big believer in niche. Go deep, go deep, go deep. Don Hudson, he's a local friend. He's a National Speaker Association Hall of Famer. He said to me, Stuart, now listen, friends, write this down. It's better to be, this is for all of you. It's better to be a mile deep and an inch wide, than an inch deep and a mile wide, right? niche. People will come to you if you have demonstrated, if you have a specific focused expertise. People love coming to experts. And being a travel agent is not an expert. I'm sorry to tell you, it's an empty promise until you deliver on something big. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so that was my last thing to tell you is that yes, make a commitment, at least one 15-minute meeting a week. Make a commitment to build your list. What can you do? Are you going to write an article? Can you give out free stuff? How can you network to get out? Read your local business journal. I go to luncheons. Now, I'm not a member of these organizations, but if there's an interesting speaker, I'll go. I'll pay $25 to be there and mix and mingle. There's always networking time. You never know who's there who needs to meet you. So I would say get up and get out. Get up and get out and meet people. Build your list. Also, definitely also check your branding, folks. When's the last time you looked at your website with fresh eyes? When's the last time you looked at your Facebook page with fresh eyes? Can I tell you something? And then we got 4 minutes left. I want to get to the rest of the comments here. Just for the Group Sales Success Summit, we have a private Facebook group, and I had to one by one, and Kisa, you know this because I think you do a lot of the monitoring through the Travel Agent Hacks group. You need to know who should you let in and who should you not, right? You want to keep it a bona fide community of professionals. Oh, I can't even begin to tell you how many people applied to get into the Facebook group, and I would view their Facebook page because I may not be friends with them, but on the about there was nothing that indicated they were in travel at all. Zero, nothing. Now I can see what other groups they're in, so I'm like, oh, okay, they're in this group, could be hacks or could be a group travel practice for agents, that other group, but by Stacy's group. So, what's the message you're putting out there? Because friends, Karen, you can send out all the postcards and emails you want, but the first thing to do is check you out. And if they check you out and it's not talking anything, if it doesn't talk to them, if you're just a Me Too business person, travel agent, big deal. Or if it says nothing about travel, you're gone. They're never going to come to you again. They're never going to talk to you. Let me just see here. Susan says, very helpful stuff. I never thought of most of that, so I know I can get most of that. This client secured. Cool. Jan says, researching first is the first step. Stalk them on Facebook in a nice, loving way. I know what you mean. Researching first is the first step. Find out how big the community is. Sign up for their newsletter. Check them out on LinkedIn. Know more about them before you have a 15-minute meeting. Jan, awesome, awesome, awesome advice. Boy, oh boy, will they be impressed when you have done your homework. It's like going for a job interview. The same thing. When I used to interview people, I was unimpressed with people who did no prep, no research, knew nothing about me and my company. But you walked in that door and you did your research, you did your due diligence. Wow. Thank you, Jan, for bringing that forward. Calvin said, are you posting and blogging consistently? I don't know if you're asking me or if all of you guys, yes, everyone should be to build your list. And when I say I blog, I do it on Facebook. That's my blog. I don't do web blog posts. I stopped doing that. And I'm going to do it again when I launch Solopreneur Network, though. And you got the book from Don, right? The Selling Value book is great. And man, Nancy, I've got 1 minute. Oh my gosh. Now that I had a half dozen 15-minute meetings, I need help with the next steps. Do you have a sequence of how to woo and hook these potential affinity group leaders into hiring me as their group coordinator? So I'm going to follow up on this on Facebook. But listen, after that 15-minute meeting, it's a love festival, friends. It's a love fest. You get back in that office, you send a handwritten thank you. This is great. And have next steps. Say, hey, listen, before you walk out that door, can we meet again? I have an idea. Can we meet again? I have an idea. Or if you have an event, and invite all these people who you've met. When's the last time, friends, you had an event and invited these people? Whenever I have a local speaking gig, I ask my client, hey, would you mind if I invite just some friends, some local business associates. They're going to stay in the back of the room, nice and quiet, but I want them to see what I do. Okay, so excuse me. Certainly, if somebody asks you to speak, that's one thing. You want to invite some of your other business colleagues who've never seen you do your thing. But why don't you have an event, Nancy? Have an event, and it could be an online event. And there are free platforms to use. We've been down this road. It could be a conference call. And if you want some leverage and integrity, you can get a supplier rep to participate with you. And it's not a sales pitch. It's information. I want to keep following up on this, Nancy, because what do you do after the 15-minute meeting? Great question. I'll tell you what I do, and we'll continue the dialogue about this and about, how do you hook clients so they don't shop elsewhere after you've put in hours of research. Our time is up. Man, the hour flies by. I'm grateful each and every one of you have been here with me today. I do hope there's been a couple of nuggets, not just one, but a couple of nuggets that have gotten you motivated, fired up. Let's continue the dialogue. I haven't posted our next meeting yet. It'll be in 2 weeks. And if there's somebody you want me to talk to and interview as my next guest, you let me know. I'll get him or her on the show. In any case, I'm grateful for you. Thanks for being at boot camp. Thanks for being here. And I wish you happy sales. You're welcome, Judy. And you're very welcome, Carolyn. Good luck, everybody. Appreciate you being here.